Greetings and salutations. I am Crom the Pale, and this is my Guild Wars 2 guide to the legendary sword, the Shining Blade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over basically as much as I think you should know ahead of time when you get into this, and the steps you should take in the order I think you should take them to acquire this awesome looking legendary sword. So the first thing we're going to go over today are Masteries. You need to get your legendary crafting mastery up. That's going to be required to actually purchase the recipes needed to craft the precursor. The precursor for the Shining Blade does not drop. It must be crafted. Now you are also going to need the Heart of Maguma masteries. You're going to need the Gliding, Itzel lore, Exalted, and Nuluk lore. Now, the raids and ancient magics you do not require for the legendary. So you can go ahead and dump all your points into Gliding, Exalted, and Nuluk lore. Now, once you have all of the masteries, the next thing you're going to want to do are map completions. The map completions you're going to require are the Heart of Thorns maps. So Verdant Brink, Auric Basin, Tangled Depths, and Dragon Stand. You will need a gift that is provided to you upon acquiring map completion of these. And I think I have a few extras in my bank here. Now these maps completion rewards are utilized in creating what's called the Gift of Maguma, which is required in place of the Gift of Exploration. Because this is a Heart of Thorns legendary, you do not need the Gift of Exploration. Instead, you need these Gift of Tarir, the Gifts of the Fleet, the Gifts of the Chalk, and there's another one, I think, Gift of the Jungle, utilized in crafting the Gift of Maguma. Now I'm going to go over all the gifts in a second as well. So once you've got your map completions done, another thing, while you get your map completions, the unique map rewards you get, you're going to want to stockpile. So for the Verdant Brink, you're going to get the airship parts. You're going to need 800 of those. For Auric Basin, you're going to get the Auric or Aurelium. You're going to need 800 of those. And in Tangled Depths, you're going to get the Leyline Crystals. You're going to need 800 of those. And I'll go over, why you need that many. But once you have the map completions and you've got your masteries, you're going to come over here and you're going to purchase the following recipe. It's down here under weapon recipes. None of these legendary collections are required for the Shining Blade. What is required is this recipe for Exemplars Edge. Once you have the recipe, you can start your crafting. So I'll show you what the recipe looks like, and I'll go through what you can start collecting for this recipe. So now for Exemplars Edge, you need 30 shards of the crown. You're going to find these are going to be the most time-consuming item of anything you need for this legendary. The oiled orichalcum sword hilt and sword blades both require vials of linseed oil and orichalcum. Not hard to come by. You're going to acquire the linseed oil by farming flax and upgrading it or refining it. The two crafting masteries you're going to need are weaponsmithing all the way up to 500, and you're going to need jewel crafting up to at least 350. I recommend maxing it, but 350 should be all you need. You're also going to need charged quartz crystals. These are time gated. You can only get one of these per day by taking 25 quartz crystals to a place of power, which is basically a hero point that has a channel feature, not a combat feature. And you can get one of these per day. So once you get one of these and 10 pieces of amberite, which are easily to acquire in the silver wastes, you can get your sheet of charged amberite, your orichalcum back. Now, the shards of the crown. This is one of those recipes that can be very frustrating. You're going to need these tribute to the queen. Now, the tribute to the queen can be purchased with a variety of different items throughout the game. The item you want to use is the Unbound Magic. Now, the Unbound Magic right here in your wallet is the easiest of these to acquire. You only need 15 for each of those. You're going to need a lot of those. In fact, I believe the total number you're going to need of Tribute to the Queen is around 290. So you don't want to be spending other items that you're going to need for other things on it. Use your Unbound Magic. It should be quick and easy to build that up to the point where you can buy all of the Tributes to the Queen using just Unbound Magic. Now, the next thing you're going to need are these Mystic Curios. The Mystic Curios say they require the intricate totems. However, you can make them with any T5 crafting mat. And this is very important because you are going to need a shit ton of these Mystic Curios. Again, 290 of them. So a little quick math for you, 35 per, you're going to need at least 10,150 of these T5 mats to create all of the Mystic Curios you need. That doesn't count another 500 of each of these level 5 mats that are required for the gifts that you also require. So, what I recommend doing, don't get over focused on the numbers. Build things one at a time. So don't start by saying, okay, well, to get the shards of the crown, I know I'm going to need 290 of these, so I'm going to collect everything I need and craft all 290 of those right away. That's the wrong approach to it. That is very much heavy on your inventory and heavy on your wallet if you start spending gold to buy these things. So all you want to do is focus on getting Exemplars Edge, focused on the first 30. So you're going to buy 30 Tributes to the Queen. You're going to look at your level 5 T5 mats, and what you're going to do is you're going to find the cheapest one, which I believe is currently the Potent Venom Sack. Yeah, they're not too bad still. So you can buy a stack of them for 264, whereas if you went for, say, a large bone, 272, not a big deal. However, you're going to notice that these, where are they? Totems, for some reason, because they're the initial one that comes up, their cost has skyrocketed. Don't get tricked into thinking you need to use the intricate totems just because they're the one that, instantly comes up, because it just grabs them for some reason in alphabetical order. So you're going to need lots of Mithril and Elder. Again, the total amount needed for the Legendary is a ridiculously large number. Do not get caught up in that. I suggest you spend a great deal of your time while you're out there doing your map completions, gathering from all the nodes. Even when your inventory hits max, your material storage is maxed out, continue to save all of the mats. Not just your T5s, not just the mithril and the wood. Save everything. The reason being, some of those other items, the orbs, the dust, and various other things, are either needed for gifts later on or can be upgraded into things you can use now. Okay? So, once you get your 60 Mystic Curios, what do we need for this? We need 30. So you get your 30 Mystic Curios, 30 Tributes of the Queen. You're going to need, again, another massive quantity of Mithril and Elder Wood. Mithril is relatively cheap to buy. You can even just buy the ingots themselves. And, 7 gold gets you 250. And you're going to go through a lot because, again, you need 30 times 30, which is, 9,000 or 900. I don't know, my math could be off. I think it's 9,000. Anyways, that's a lot of mithril ingots. And again, elder wood. And elder wood is very expensive currently, so you're probably not going to want to be forking out, gold for that. So take your time, work your way through this, and eventually you will get Exemplars Edge. Once you get Exemplars Edge, you are allowed to purchase the next recipe, which is Vengeance. Vengeance is virtually identical as far as crafting materials go. They're actually pretty closely in appearance too, if I show you a quick preview. So here is Exemplars Edge. And Vengeance. So Vengeance looks a little bit better. It's a much, much nicer sword. Now, once you craft these two, again, you're going to move up to your final stage of the precursor, and that's crafting the actual precursor, Save the Queen. It now requires Deldrimor steel, so you're going to have to make sure you have Deldrimor steel ingots. You're going to need 3 for the hilt and 3 for the blade. Now, these again are time gated. You can only make 1 a day. So you're going to have to take your time. You're going to have to store up items for that. The Visionary Inscription requires a Legendary Inscription and a Vision Crystal. The Legendary Inscription requires Ecto, Crystalline Dust, an Orichalcum Plated Dowel, which again is going to require Ancient Wood and Orichalcum Ingots, and 10 Elonian Leather Squares. Now, this is something that most people get caught by surprise from because they've added a lot of leather to the crafting as far as heavy armor and weaponsmithing. So be advised, 10 Elonian leather squares, that's, again, if you want to buy 10 of them, that's going to cost you 108 gold. Not something you want to do. So you're going to craft these 1 per day again. Don't try and get this legendary in 1 day. It's simply prohibitively expensive. If you want to fork over 2,000 gold, that won't even get you there. You're still going to need a lot more if you have to buy 100% of the items. So take your time, work your way up to Save the Queen. Again, 100 shards of the crown for this. So that's 100 for this. You need 60 for the Vengeance, and Exemplar Edge needed 30. So there's 190. Once you get your shard or your Save the Queen, that's an Ascended Sword. It's really nice. I advise taking your time, getting there. Once you get here, things are going to slow down dramatically because from this point on, you need a lot of very expensive items in very large quantities. Getting 100 shards of the crown requires, again, tributes of the crown, 100 mystic curios, and again, massive quantities of mithril and elder, and your T5 mats again. However, once you do get to the point where you actually have your ascended weapon, the rest of the recipes required can be found on the wiki. Now, to make the legendary sword, you actually require the following items. You require Save the Queen, the Gift of Blade, the Mystic Tribute, and the Gift of Maguma Mastery. Now, the Mystic Tribute is quite easy. They require things referred to as Gift of Condensed Magic, Gifts of Condensed Might, Mystic Clovers, and Mystic Coins. Now, the gifts you can actually craft once again here. Oops, if I can spell. Now, to get those 2 gifts, you're going to need to craft these individual gifts for each of your crafting mats, and you're going to require substantial quantities, and you require 2 of each of these gifts. You're then going to take 4 of these, throw them in the Mystic Forge to get 1 gift, and the other 4 will give you the other gift. So this again is why you're going to need to keep saving all of your mats, and it's going to again take a long time. Eventually, you're also going to need the Gift of Metal. For the Gift of Metal, you need 250 platinum ingots. As you can see, I can refine all of the other necessary items except for platinum ingots. Weaponsmithing cannot refine that. However, you can refine them using Jewel Crafter. So that's where your Jewel Crafter is going to take your platinum and make 250 platinum ingots. Again, if you've got an infinite amount of money, you can just buy the 250. 17 gold, that's a lot of money to waste when you're looking at massive quantities of items. So once you have those 4 groups, the 2 of each of the gifts, you're going to need, I believe it's 77 Mystic Clovers and 250 Mystic Coins. That gives you your Mystic Tribute. So after you have the Mystic Tribute, you're going to want the Gift of the Blade. Now for the Gift of the Blade, you need that Gift of Metal and the Gift of the Mists. Now for the Gifts of the Mists, you're going to have to do a number of different things. You're going to have to do PvP and World versus World. You're also going to have to do some fractals. The first thing you're going to come across is the Gift of Glory. The Gift of Glory is purchasable, I believe, right here for 250 shards of glory. You earn those in PvP. They're actually quite easy to earn 250 of them, so you don't have to do a lot of PvP, and you're going to get some of those just by advancing reward tracks. The Gift of War is the same thing. You're going to get these in World versus World, and it's quite easy to get them through virtually any reward track. However, in World versus World, the reward track you're going to go for, because it's an absolute mandatory item, is this one, for the Gift of Battle. And as you see, it will give you some memories of battle. It'll also give you an Amalgamated Gemstone. This is important because you're going to need 250 of these Amalgamated Gemstones, and they are a random result you get. Well, not a random, but the quantity you get is fairly random for combining items in the Mystic Forge. So, Gift of Glory, Gift of War. The Gift of Gliding here you're going to need, and this is where you need your airship parts, your lump of beryllium, and your leyline crystals. You're also going to need 100 of these Mystic Rune Stones, and that is when you start making your other gift. Your Gift of Maguma Mastery. For Gift of Maguma Mastery, you're going to need 250 Crystalline Ingots. And we'll go through here again. There. So for the Crystalline Ingots, you're going to need crystalline ore. This is a count-bound item that cannot be purchased. You get these out of the Noxious Pods in Dragon Stand, so you're going to have to run Dragon Stand while you're doing your map completion multiple times in order to acquire that. You're also going to need these Amalgamated Gemstones. You're going to need Fulgurite. Fulgurite requires leyline sparks, piles of auric dust, bottles of airship oil, obsidian shards. You're going to probably get your obsidian shards mostly from either purchasing with karma or acquiring them through the reward tracks in PvP and World versus World. Bottles of airship oil, piles of auric dust, and the leyline sparks. Complete various events in the 3 maps that you need to do for HOT completion and open all the chests there. The map unique chests you get, so the airship drops, your auric chests or Terrier chests, and of course the crystalline supply caches will provide you with all the leyline sparks, piles of auric dust, and bottles of airship oil. So once you can make 250 of these, so for the amount you need globs of ecto, obviously you're going to need 250 of those. For the Amalgamated Gemstone, you have to use a recipe in the Mystic Forge. So what you're going to do is the easiest way I found to do it with ecto, and that is an expensive way to do it, but a very reliable way. You're going to combine ectos with 25 each. So I think it's 3 ectos and 25 orbs. And in case you don't know what orbs are, let me jump quickly over to the bank. So my material storage here. So these are your orbs, your beryl orbs, the crystal orbs, your coral orbs, emerald, opal, ruby, sapphire. Passion flowers don't count. The azurite crystals, or the azurite orbs do count. And I believe the agate orbs also count. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 25 of these. So you can use the same one multiple times. And let's see here. You're also going to need 3 globs of ecto, I believe, or maybe 5. I'm not sure off the top of my head. It's been a while. Actually, I can go find out. Let's go see. Come on. This is one of those things where I didn't write every number down because I didn't want to get too hung up on the numbers. So yes, you need 5 ectos plus 25 of each of these, and that'll give you between 10 and 25 amalgamated plates, which is what you need, 250 of those. So it can be very expensive and time consuming, but you will eventually get them. So again, take your time building these things. Don't rush. It's a legendary weapon. It's supposed to take a long time. So you're going to go to each of the HOT maps, and you're going to pick up the Gift of the Fleet, the Gift of Tarir, the Gift of the Chak, and the Gift of the Jungle. Those you're going to get for your map completions. And then you're going to, for the Gift of Maguma Mastery, you're going to get that. What else do we need? Gift of Insights. To get the Gift of Insights, you need to buy the Gift of Gliding, the Gift of the Exalted, the Gift of the Nolok, and the Gift of the Itzel. And these each cost 500 of the particular map rewards. So for the Gift of the Itzel, you need 500 airship parts plus 1 gold. So once you get all of these gifts together, then you can start creating your Gift of Maguma. You've got your Crystalline Ingots as well. Once you have all of these 4 items, Save the Queen, Gift of the Blade, Mystic Tribute, and Gift of Maguma Mastery, you put them all inside the Mystic Forge, and that will result in you having yourself a shiny new legendary sword. The Shining Blade. And when you walk, it leaves wonderful little footprints that are the symbol of the Shining Blade. And I'll just give you a quick preview of that, just in case you can't see it very well there. So this is the Shining Blade. I think it's the coolest legendary sword. That's why I have it. I actually don't use it on my Guardian. I'm actually dual wielding it on my Revenant, but I threw it on my Guardian for now, just to show, because it, you know, it looks cool no matter where you do it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you. I hope you take the time and craft this legendary sword, as it is exceedingly cool looking. Not only does it have a glow effect, but the glow effect spreads all the way up your arm, the footprints. It's very large. It's beautiful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the game.